Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geek Addicts, the pop culture podcast where we don't have enough time to think of things, so we just come up with lists and shit. I didn't think that through. Ha! Anyways, I'm Bill. This is Matt. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing all right, Bill. Fucking waiting for the heat wave to pass. I am so sick of summer. So sick of summer.
Yeah, summer is not my favorite. I love the fall now. Like ever since got out of fucking school, like the fall's just become like the best time of the year. I wish it would just
Yeah,
stay in that like fall range forever.
no kidding. No kidding. Unfortunately, there's nowhere like that I can think of that really applies. Because I mean, you can either go north where it's always fucking cold, or you could go south where it's always fucking hot.
See, I'd rather
And
be
like
hot than
right
cold.
here is pretty much the most in between you're gonna get. I'm actually the opposite end. I'd rather be cold than hot.
Yeah, I don't like the cold. Well, I hate the snow. The snow is my big thing. I can't stand.
You might be singing a different tune if you didn't have AC.
No, I hate snow because it makes it a pain to do anything outside.
That's true. That's true.
The salt is disgusting. They destroy
Yeah,
the
but
roads.
last year is the first year we actually had like significant snow in like a while.
Yeah, I still don't like being cold. I can deal with being hot more than I can deal with being cold. But I think it's because I didn't grow up with AC, so I'm just used to that.
I mean, I didn't either. But yeah, well, that's the thing is like I can always put layers on. I can always throw a blanket over me. I don't know if you ever tried one of those comfies, but actually I think where we had them with us when we visited you that one time. Those things are fucking sweet in the winter. But like
Possible.
you can always throw shit on. There's only so much you could take off.
Just rip skin off. Just like
Yeah, right.
that would honestly make things worse,
Yeah,
realistically.
just cook
Um,
your insides.
but yeah, this week sucked. It like downpoured for like the first like 2 days, like to the point where we had too much water, and then
And now all of it is gone. No, actually, now all of it's in the air. That's what
yeah,
makes it suck.
and it's gonna be like hit or miss for the entire week whether we're gonna get more rain or not.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was that. Just work was whatever. It was one of those weeks where I swear everybody woke up on the wrong side of the bed just every day.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Still dealing with a situation I'm not going to get into here, but it's not great.
Yeah.
And what else is annoying in the world right now? Um, yeah, other than that, it's just been tired. I've not had time to do anything. Like I got a few things done. Like I'll talk a little bit about it later. But I went to a Comic-Con yesterday, and boy, was it a experience.
Yeah, I saw the post you made about it where you said you bought a shit ton of trades.
I did. I'll share. I'll share a little bit later. But anything new in Met World?
Well, a few things and just like my usual my weekly updates of like my shit that I am absorbing. I finished Superman and Lois.
Oh, nice.
A very, very nice, wholesome ending. I was very happy with it.
You can tell it was ended abruptly, but they were at a good enough point where it didn't. The show hadn't fallen off, so it kind of ends at the perfect place.
But it also feels like it like that last season set up for the ending. Like with the whole like Superman like having his heart replaced, but it's it's an old man's heart, old human man's heart. So it's not going to sustain him for like as long as he normally would have lived. So he's actually aging like at the usual human rate. And then
Yeah,
it's like, the classic Lois's cancer came back and she went first and then Clark went after. And
that ending is beautiful. I will say.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'm not going to lie. I didn't, I didn't actually like cry, but I did tear up a little bit at that ending. It
well,
was very moving.
because you just end up loving those characters, like that version of Clark and Lois. Like whenever find someone who says they don't get Superman, I'm always like, watch Superman and Lois. You'll get it after that.
Mhm. I think I also just need to read more of the comics too for me to really fully get it. But Superman and Lois, that is my favorite version of Superman as of right now.
There's a reason why whenever they try to pair Clark with somebody else, like Wonder Woman, it doesn't work. Like he needs that like balance in his life.
He's that ground.
And it's like just because something's old doesn't mean we have to change it.
True. I will say my one big gripe with this show, and I was hoping it was going to smooth out by the end, but it really didn't. I do not like Lex Luthor in this show.
Yeah, he wasn't. Well, I think unfortunately, we had the unfortunate case of we've had Nicholas Hoult since, and
well, not even that. Even the Supergirl, like the Supergirl series version of Lex Luthor, I liked more. But like this dude, they just made him like a biker dude. Like I feel like he got lost on the way to the set of Sons of Anarchy.
That the beard look is actually comic accurate, believe it or not.
I mean, well, having a beard is one thing, but that was like a straight up biker beard, and like every other scene was him like raging out to metal music. I'm like, that doesn't feel like Lex Luthor to me.
Would you believe it or not? That's happened in the comics before.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, with a comic, that's
believe it or not, when that was revealed,
I'm sure they've done it all. But
believe it or not, when that whole thing was revealed, a lot of people were like, "Holy shit, they're digging deep," because that was a thing at one point.
I'm sure it was. It's just this is like I have a very specific idea of what like my ideal version of Lex Luthor is very similar to Nicholas Holt's version, but it's like I don't know where I got this from. This has to exist somewhere. But the version of Lex Luthor that I like the most is not like necessarily the shitty corporate asshole Lex Luthor. It's like yeah, he's like a rich corporate dude, but like he actually hates Superman because he thinks that humans should solve their own problems and that relying on Superman too much will set us back. Like that's like that idea of Lex Luthor works better for me as a concept.
Depends on the writer. It really does.
That's unfortunately the thing when it comes to comics in general. And then adaptations of said comics because you could pull from anything or pull from nothing. Which leads into the other show that I started this week. I started watching Gotham Knights. It's apparently another CW show that only lasted one season. I don't know if it was planned that way or not.
I don't even remember that one. So,
but well, it came out in like just a few years ago, I guess. And I've only watched the first couple episodes, but the setup for it is well. First of all, they are pretty much pretending that all the Robins just don't exist. And it begins the show with Batman being thrown off of a building and dying. And the main character is his like adopted son, this kid named Turner. I'm guessing that I don't think that's a comic character. But
I've had a lot of Robins, and I don't remember that one.
See, that's the thing. Well, he's not set up to be. There's actually a separate Robin, but she's a girl.
What's her name?
I don't remember.
Carrie Kelly, is it?
It might be.
Because there was a Carrie Kelly. Either way.
But anyways, at first I was like, well, that's a weird choice with all the adopted sons he's had in like the actual continuity to just like forget they exist and then bring in this rando.
Or, his real son that he's
or
had
his
for
real son.
10 years now.
But the more I thought about it, and like especially having just watched the Titan series and several other live action shows, I'm like, you know what? It honestly might not be the terrible choice to just create a whole new character because that way you can't fuck it up and piss anyone off. But essentially, the concept is Batman is killed, and the group who was framed for the actual deed are the children of several of Batman's villains. And then Turner was framed as like the ringleader who like hired them to do it. So they're like trying to figure out who actually killed Batman. And it turns out the Court of Owls is a big part of this. Like pretty much the Court of Owls is set up as like the big villain. Really like the only characters I can think of who are actual like characters, aside from you just telling me about the chick there, are
So I'm looking this up now, and it looks like most of these are real characters. Because
really?
Stephanie Brown was a Robin. She was a Robin before.
Oh, she's the blonde chick that he's friends with, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Turner is just Tim Drake. Jesus Christ. I'm reading this now. It sounds like he's just Tim Drake. I didn't feel like using Tim Drake.
Well, again, that's probably for the best because
I mean, well, DC doesn't know what to do with Tim Drake. They haven't for like 2 decades now.
yeah.
Ugh.
I don't know. It seems interesting enough. Like I'm not like pushing against it super hard, and it's only a season. It's like 13 episodes total, so it's
Reading the description of this, I understand why this lasted only 1 season.
I mean, unless it was intentional for it to only be a season, but
it was probably honestly CW probably started this right before DC Studios was established, and they basically were like, "Yeah, we're redoing everything."
yeah, that makes sense. Also, I didn't know this before, but I guess Gotham is also a CW show.
Technically, but they're all loosely connected.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's actually funny. Stephanie Brown's here. She was a Robin, and she's also a current Batgirl.
Interesting. Is she like? Is that like after Barbara gets crippled, or?
Well, no. She was after Barbara got crippled. There was no Batgirl for a while. Then it was Cassandra Cain for a while, and then
who the hell is Cassandra Cain?
She's like one of the longest serving Batgirls. She's the daughter of Lady Shiva, believe it or not. Her run
last name is Cain, so shouldn't she be related to Batman? Isn't that his mother's maiden name?
Different thing. She is actually his adopted daughter. He did adopt her at one point.
He gotta stop adopting kids. He's fucking these kids up.
Dick's pretty well.
Except for Dick. Dick's the good boy.
Tim was fine until DC fucking fucked his character up. Honestly, Jason's the only one that has problems. Realistically, Jason.
Yeah.
Either way, though, it was Cassandra Cain for a while. Then it was when they were doing the whole Batman Reborn thing, where they had Tim be Batman. Not Tim. When Dick became Batman, Damian became Robin. Tim went on to be Red Robin for a while in his really awesome Red Robin series that got ended way too soon. And they replaced Cassandra with Stephanie Brown. Stephanie Brown became Batgirl in a very, very well received series. Then the New 52 happened. They made Barbara Batgirl again and uncrippled her, sort of. Since we've been
a microchip, it's always a microchip.
She had an implant on her spine. There was an implant on her spine,
so it was
like a brace or something, some stupid shit.
Yeah, the same shit they did to fucking what's her face, Nara.
They've basically in recent times though they've started walking that back where she's not technically crippled, but like they've made it that like the spine brace thing is starting to get like that. Basically, she's got to back off or else she's going to push it too far. So now she's mostly Oracle again, but she still occasionally is Batgirl, like you saw in like the Nightwing series that you read, the Tom Taylor one.
Yeah.
But then now Cass and Stephanie are both Batgirls, and I believe Stephanie is on the current Titans team, and Cassandra's got her own solo series, and that's how they've got them separated right now.
Okay.
So there's technically 3 Batgirls running around right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
comics are fun.
So yeah, that's the most I've gotten out of Gotham Knights so far. I've also finished Batman the Animated Series and watched the Sub-Zero movie.
Good movie.
Or whatever. Mr. Freeze, Sub-Zero. I don't know. It's a weird subtitle situation. It was good. It was very short. It was only like an hour.
Yeah, it's basically just a longer episode of the show.
I think that might have been why I thought it was just like a 3-part episode or something.
Well, it didn't get the same budget that like Mask of the Phantasm did because that movie bombed in the theaters. So instead,
it still looked really nice, but
I mean, it looked great, but that they that animation style is able to look super good because it had like such a simple stylized like art style.
Mm. But yeah, aside from that, I'm on the last season of Superman the Animated Series. I do have a question.
Yes.
Bizarro. What is he? Because every form of
Depends.
Superman,
Depends on the continuity.
Supergirl, like every time I watch something different, it flip flops. It's either he's a clone, a failed clone, or there's like an alternate universe with Bizarro everyone. I don't know which one it is, but I've seen both in numerous different medias.
Would you be upset if I just simply responded yes?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Because the comics are kind of like, sure. It depends on what the writer feels like sometimes. Because there is the Bizarro world, but then there's also just Bizarro who's a clone. It literally depends on what the fucking writer is.
Yeah, I'm so confused at this point because in Superman and Lois, it was an alternate world. In Supergirl, it was a clone. In Superman the Animated Series, it was also a clone. In the All-Star Superman, it was an alternate universe. And it keeps going back and forth, back and forth. And it's like, Jesus Christ, pick one.
Depends on the one. It really depends on how the writer feels.
Oh God, it's just comics.
They're great.
Speaking of comics, I read a comic this week. My copy of Static Batman Beyond came out. I finally got it, and I read it in like 45 minutes.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
It's not super long. It's like 6 issues. And it's not really what I was expecting. It was actually kind of cool though because we got to see like a lot of different characters in the future. I thought it was going to be more specifically focused on just Virgil and Terry.
It was Terry, okay.
But it wasn't like solely focused on, like we actually got to see like where some of the other milestone characters ended up later in their lives. Like Icon's sidekick Rocket becomes mayor of Paris Island in Dakota. And her son actually takes the suit and like becomes the next Rocket, but he's called Beacon. Static actually helped to found a school for bang babies. So, and really metahumans in general. So anyone who's like he's basically kind of became like a pseudo Professor Xavier in that universe. But way more badass. Also, he got yoked as fuck.
It depends on the artist sometimes.
Well, in this one, he was yoked as shit. It was actually really funny because there was a point where he was having an argument with Terry, and he was just like, Terry was like, "Oh, well, you probably just don't get it because you're so old." He's like, "I'm 35." He's like, "Yeah, that's what I said. You're old."
Something tells me that writer didn't really understand Terry, but sure.
I mean, does anybody?
Not since the fucking show ended, that's for sure. His comics
well, there you go.
A fucking nightmare to read.
But all told, I did really like the story. It was really interesting how they laid it all out. I do feel like it would have been nice if we had gotten more of it. Like not necessarily this particular story, but like more of like the future timeline. I think in terms of like the story itself, though, I still think Shadows of Dakota is better. Oh, by the way, this is an extension of that universe. By the way, the Static one that we read, then the Shadows of Dakota. This one is an extension of that continuity.
Okay.
Because it actually references events that happened in Shadows.
Yeah.
Actually, Rubber Band Man is he's like the headmaster of the mutant school. And Avon pops in to help out at one point. It turns out he and Static are actually cool. He was like the big shadow. He was like the big shadow guy from the cartoon, if you remember.
Yep.
He was teased at the end of the one we read. But yeah, no, I liked a lot of this, like the back and forth and like the kind of like, because Virgil was kind of like the original like fast talking teenage DC superhero. And then he's kind of like quasi mentoring Terry in that way because he's like the new blood of that type. So, you know, it was still really enjoyable. It was fun. I liked it. What else? Oh, I just found this out maybe 20 minutes before we recorded. So you know how I mentioned before that there is a live action Naruto movie in production?
Sure.
Well, apparently the gentleman they have directing it is in fact the same director who did Quan Chi for the MCU, and he just directed the newest Spider-Man movie. So it's not a bad start.
Was Quan Chi good? I never saw it.
It wasn't my favorite story-wise, but the fighting, like choreography, was fucking incredible. I heard a lot of people describe it as the best live-action Dragon Ball movie.
That's something.
Because there is a lot of like that kind of idea. Because I think the rings that he has, that's like part of Chinese mythology, and it's something that's been seen in pretty much anything that's influenced by Journey to the West in any way. So they take a lot of stuff from that mythology in that movie.
It was very. You mean Shang-Chi?
Oh, is it? I thought it was Quan. Oh,
Quan Chi's a Mortal Kombat character.
It's a character in Dungeon Crawler Carl. I got it confused. Yeah, Shang-Chi.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was just reading Dungeon Crawler Carl. That's why I got confused.
Gotcha. I mean, the movie did well, so there's that. And then Spider-Man did well, but that's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That does...
Well, I've heard specific good things about the movie, not just it was good. So,
okay.
And in both cases, the fighting choreography was a big part of it. And with a product like Naruto, good fight choreography is kind of a make or break part of it. So we'll see how it goes. They just started casting. They haven't announced who anyone's going to be yet, but
like they're starting from the beginning, I'm assuming.
I believe so.
All right. We'll see how that goes.
I mean, I assume they're probably going to do the Zabuza Haku stuff first, unless they want to just skip over that part and just do Gaara. But
yeah, it depends on how well it does. Because let's face it, Naruto is, as much as it's beloved, it's also fucking controversial.
Yeah, controversial might be a stretch.
Yeah, fans are. I shouldn't say controversial. I'd say Naruto fans are some of the are very finicky about shit. So.
Well, Naruto is very much in need of a Kai, so we'll just say that much.
A Kai, or just watch the non-filler guide. That's really all you need to do.
True. This is true. There was another thing I wanted to mention too. What was it? Right. So the Digital Crawler Carl book that I'm reading, I'm on book 6 right now, and the floor that they're on, for some reason, decided to introduce a card battling system.
Okay.
But I'm kind of about it because like the way they set it up is like so on that floor of the dungeon, it's essentially like recreations of like the surface world pre-collapse. It's actually like the 2 weeks leading into the collapse. And you basically, when the floor starts, you get to choose where you want to go. And then like the monsters and stuff you're going to encounter are based on, well, they say at the beginning, it's based on the mythology of the region, which is technically true. But they're also just throwing in like random fictional characters too. Like they went into a training room to try out the card battling system, and they were fighting a Teletubby.
Okay.
Yeah. But my favorite thing that I've read out of that book so far was when the computer was running down the rules for that floor. It was talking about like the monsters that you encounter will be based on the mythology of that region. So if you're in Romania, you'll be fighting vampires and werewolves. If you're in Ireland, you'll be fighting leprechauns and banshees. And if you're in Japan, you're just fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right. Pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I'd say. But
I didn't get a ton done. I've been so I'm still working my way through the Spurrier Flash run. I'm halfway through it. This is the farthest I've ever gotten into it.
hmm,
Um, I just finished the third volume out of four and just started the fourth volume.
hmm,
Still don't love it. I will say the second half is much better than the first half,
hmm.
mostly because it has a solid artist. Like they've like settled on like a singular artist, so it's like kind of like the artist fairly stable and it's more fitting to like a Flash run. But like the shit that they have as like the story that he was trying to tell is just too fucking hoity-toity up there in like my brain, and I'm just
Hmm.
like, what? I just want to watch Wally like do like fun shit, like and like just run around the city and help people. I don't need this like high like cosmic like art story where
Hmm.
like the current story I'm reading right now is like he's gained like the power to split himself in two.
What?
This has been like basically forgotten as of since the run ended, but like he had like the ability to split himself in two, and he had one half was doing Justice League stuff and the other half was on family vacation. And of course, you can imagine like eventually they find out and they're mad about it. But now we're like in this weird thing where there's like 1,000 Wallies running around, and I have no fucking idea what's going on. Like
That's
I'm so
fucking-
lost. Like,
That's so weird.
yeah, there's a reason why this run got canceled. Well, shortened. The book technically didn't get canceled. They changed creative teams, but there's a reason why Spurrier left the book, but I think he was forced out. Honestly, um, yeah, because Flash is one of those books that won't ever get canceled, but they will just change the team and relaunch it if they have to.
Hmm.
But yeah, this was like too. This would have made way more sense as like a Barry story,
Yeah.
but the problem is Barry's currently powerless in the continuity.
Okay.
It had to do with absolute power, which was a big event. It was an event where Amanda Waller essentially stole all the superheroes' powers,
Of course.
and it's actually a pretty cool event. But at the end of the event, when all the powers are returned, some of them got misplaced. So some heroes ended up with the wrong powers, and some of them lost their powers entirely, and they're somewhere out there. So
So who got Barry's powers?
we don't know yet. It's still unclear. Uh,
Is this current or is this just where you're at right now in your run?
as far as I know, Barry still doesn't have powers.
Okay.
But we got some cool stuff out of that. Like Aquaman got like water powers.
I mean,
Well, no. He never had the ability to manipulate water, like a water bend shit. Now he can like water bend shit because he ended up getting Mira's powers somehow.
okay.
Lois became Superwoman for a while because she ended up with General Zod's powers.
Oh, that's cool.
It was actually a really fun run, the Rise of Superwoman. She currently doesn't have the powers anymore. It's kind of like an on and off thing. Sometimes she gets them back, sometimes she doesn't. Because she's not
I know
Kryptonian, so she
I
can't.
know. Superman made like a serum or whatever to give her like a day
Not
of
like that.
Kryptonian powers once.
Yeah, not like that. This was more. She straight up just has like the Kryptonian powers, but because she's not Kryptonian, she can't absorb the yellow sun energy the same way. So when she expels the powers, they go away.
Oh, that's weird.
It made sense in context. Basically, like she lost him because she used too much heat vision,
Yeah,
which basically blew out all the power she had.
yeah. It seems like heat vision drains it the fastest.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things, and obviously it wasn't the status quo. They had to go back to status quo eventually,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a fun like mini run with Lois and Clark being Superman and Superwoman.
Yeah, well, that actually kind of reminded me of the. I did watch recently the episode of Superman the Animated Series where Batman went missing and he had to put on the bat suit.
Oh yeah, and he imitates Tim's voice, and Tim's like, "Don't ever do that again."
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Also, I don't know if you saw, but they revealed a bunch of the upcoming compacts. Also, I guess they're doing another like side thing of Compact. They're doing like Compact Comic Adventures or something. It's like I think they're supposed to be for like younger people, and they're going to be like $7.99 instead of $9.99.
So they have like the younger graphic novels, and I think they're just making compact versions of those now.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because like I know one of the more well known like younger graphic novels is the famous Superman smashes the Klan.
I still gotta get that. I gotta read that. As soon as you told me about it, I was like, "Is that what it sounds like?" Yeah, okay, I need to read
it. It's the best thing Gene Yang ever did with Superman, which is insane because everyone says Gene Yang would be a perfect Superman writer, but then every time he writes Superman like in canon, it's like not great. So,
um,
then again, he also wrote the Avatar comics, like the first few, and those weren't great either. So,
I read the first couple of them. I liked them. The first one was okay, but the second one was great because Zuko.
well, the Search was fine. I like the Search. The Promise was shit. Like, why the fuck were they like fighting again? And then like, it breaks up Zuko and Mai for no reason. May, whatever her name is, for no reason.
Yeah.
Gives him daddy issues for no reason. That first,
Zuko?
that first.
I mean, Zuko's always had daddy issues.
Yeah, but by that point, he should have been over it. Why was he having daddy issues again?
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I had so many issues with that first series.
But yeah, no, I saw that they're next year they're gonna be releasing a Hellblazer compact, and I'm super pumped for that.
Saw that
because I've only seen Constantine through like the CW shows, but I love the concept and I want to read his comics.
They're definitely all over the place, but he's had some good runs.
There's a few other like random ones that I saw, like ones that weren't like well-known properties. And I'm interested to read more of those.
I gotta look up some of these real quick. Upcoming DC compact comics. This doesn't help me. These are all already out.
Yeah, they don't update that super often. I had to like actually like search around for it. For it helps if you search up.
Oh yeah, they're doing Batman and Son. Okay, so 2027, we're getting 100 bullets. Okay, Preacher, Batgirl Year One, Wonder Woman Year One, Man of Steel. I'm surprised they're doing Man of Steel. Green Lantern Rebirth. That makes sense. Superman Brainiac is an interesting choice.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that one.
Especially because where that is canonically is so odd, especially with where we are now. Oh, they're doing Tower of Babel. That'll be fun. Yeah. That's a fun story.
Yeah, that was one of the ones I saw there.
Oh, and they're doing Injustice Year One. That's interesting.
They already did one Injustice already. They're doing Wonder Woman Year One.
Wonder Woman Year One will be interesting because that was like somewhat recent.
Yeah, Hellblazer, Dangerous Habits.
I see the Flash is still getting nothing, but that's fine.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, and then the DC Compact Adventures. I'm curious to see like what those contain, because one of them I see is a Teen Titans one based off of the original cartoon.
Yeah,
I have no idea what Death is. It's just called Death.
Apparently, that's been canceled.
Oh, really?
Yeah, according to this. Either way,
what I'm looking at says to be announced for the date. It's in the Sandman comics.
Oh. I don't know if we're going to get Sandman, considering the writer's been very canceled recently.
I'm not aware of that. I'm still new to this. But either way, I'm looking forward to actually, because I actually just got the most recent Carl book. So now that I've got all those, I can actually start focusing on collecting more comics. So.
Nice. Speaking of collecting comics, though, I did go to Terrificon yesterday, and I scored a lot of books.
Yeah.
So Terrificon had a ton of just like bins of trades, and a lot of them were like $5 each. Like regardless of what the trade
Wow.
was, it was $5 each. Like you would have been like, "Holy shit!" if you saw some of this stuff.
Oh, for real.
So I was doing some hunting. Once I discovered how many like $5 bins there were, I was hunting, and I found. So this the only new comic I bought was I bought the newest Aquaman volume, which has been a fun run. I found all of Gotham Central. That was something I've been looking for a while now. Do you know about Gotham Central?
No.
So Gotham Central, there's actually a compact of the first 10 issues. Gotham Central was a series that revolved around. It essentially like was rather than it was a Batman book, but instead of focusing on Batman, it focused on like the Gotham City Police Force. And it actually like told like their story of like how they dealt with all the shit in Gotham and kind of how they viewed Batman. So like Batman was like this like kind of like evil like figure throughout the run.
So it's kind of similar to the setup for like the Gotham show, but the Gotham show is pre-Batman, and this is current. Like Batman is doing his thing during this.
Yeah, Batman is active during this, but like it focuses on like Gotham City Police. It's such a cool run. It was written by Greg Rucka and Ed Brubaker. For context, Ed Brubaker is the guy that wrote not Civil War. He wrote The Winter Soldier.
Okay.
So he's a very well known writer. But I found that entire run in all 4 volumes of that. I got some more Green Arrow, some more of the New 52 run, some more of the New 52 Green Lantern Corps. I got some more classic JLA. I found the infamous Titans run, where they basically revamped the Titans book. They got rid of the OG Titans and revamped it as a villain book.
Oh.
Where it was Deathstroke with a bunch of villains, and they were the Titans. It was bad, but I found both volumes for like $5. And I was like, fuck it, why not?
Yeah.
I got the first of the original Trinity series, which was a series that revolved around Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I found Wonder Woman by George Perez Volume 3. I've been hunting for that for forever because I didn't get around to collecting those when they were coming out, so I only got the first 2 volumes, and like the rest of them are like really hard to find now. So finding Volume 3, I was like, hell yeah. And then I found Wonder Woman Black and Gold, which was like, do you know anything about Black and Gold?
No.
So Black and Gold was kind of like it was a continuation of, they did a series back in the day called Batman Black and White, and it was like a series of just kind of like non-canon one shots, but like the whole gimmick was they were all presented in black and white and had this very distinct style to them. They later followed it up years later with a series called Superman Red and Blue, which was a very similar concept, only instead of like black and white, the books were all like in red and blue art. And then after that, they did Wonder Woman Black and Gold, and the same thing, only it was all black and gold art. It was a cool concept. So I was happy to
a bunch of short stories.
Yeah, just like it was like a bunch of mini stories essentially.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a fun discovery. Like, I have Superman Blue, Red and Blue, so finding Wonder Woman Black and Gold was really cool. But yeah, I got all of those for under $200.
Nice. Wow.
Like, yeah, that was crazy because I only brought $200 to spend, and when I saw those $5 pins, I was basically like, I was like, okay, time to fill out some collections.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And of course, you find like all these books that you've been looking for forever, but you had already bought like for stupid prices, and you're like, yeah, of course.
It's all right.
Yeah.
That's why I'd like to go to like an actual comic convention one of these days.
Yeah, I'll let you know next year when Terrificon's around if we can make that work.
If I can try to fucking save up a little bit of money for it.
Because that's in Mohegan Sun. It's not bad.
Oh yeah.
All right. I think that's just about everything. Should we get into the topic for this week?
Yeah, now that we're 40 minutes into the episode.
Yeah. And we still got the segment later. So for this episode, we're actually doing another top 10 list. This time we're doing our top 10 favorite films. And we didn't really have any restrictions on this. It was kind of just our personal top 10 films.
Hmm. These are
Um,
also kind of subject to change at any given time.
yeah, this list was very hard to put together. I think I have my fairly definitive list for now, but you never know. Things could change. So I think we'll do similar to how we've always done list or how I do list on GNC. We'll do start from 10, go to 1. Do you want to do
Hmm.
honorable mentions or just kind of do the top 10?
No, if we can think of any once we get to that point, because
All
I
right.
mean, there's plenty of movies I like, but well, we could probably just do like a follow up episode down the line, or just other like not necessarily a top 10, but just like, oh, these are also 10 movies that we like. Yeah, we can just do it that way.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so we'll go back and forth. Yeah, so the ordering is subject to change, but these were the top 10 films I came up with, and I guess I'll start now with number 10. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, I didn't even think of that one.
That is like
Yeah,
my
that's fair.
that is my quintessential British humor film. It is stupid. The jokes are pretty bad, but my god, it's still funny. Um, like I still think of like the tale of Sir Robin. Brave Sir
Oh,
Robin
that's
ran away, bravely ran away.
no, oh god, I love that movie so much. It's so good.
Oh, anytime like I see like a rabbit, I always just start reciting the holy hand grenade. And Saint Evita, raise thy hand grenade.
God, how many times I fucking quoted that movie throughout like
Oh,
my whole adolescence. Like,
anytime I used to piss my friends off all the time back in the day. Anytime like they wanted to like go somewhere because I was the only person with a car, they'd always want to go somewhere. If I never wanted to go, I'd always be like, no, let's not go there. It is a silly place.
tis a silly place.
Oh, and it's a
Stop
good
that
thing that
groveling. I hate it when you grovel.
message for you, sir. I still always will joke too. Like I'll be like, "What is the capital of Assyria?" I don't know that. Or like, "What is your favorite color?" Blue. No, wait. And then they get arrested at the end for killing the narrator. It's like the best
Great.
best payoff for that goddamn movie.
It's just completely unclimactic, but it's just the best.
What are you gonna do? Bleed on me?
The Black Knight.
I'll
Of
bite
course.
your legs off. It's just
God.
stupid movie, but I love it. Yeah, so that was my number 10. What do you got?
So my number 10 is one that I mentioned in the last top 10. It's gonna kind of seem counter to the list that we did previously for comic books, but Batman '89.
That's a good
It's-
movie.
It's a comfort movie for me. It's one of those movies where if I don't know what to put on, I'm just gonna put on Batman.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Still hate the Batwing scene, but
Hey, you know what? You don't know what caliber that pistol was. It went all the way down his pants.
that's true. I mean, to be fair, the way that ship gets destroyed in Flash kind of makes sense. So,
Yeah. Well,
no, that is a classic movie. I still think Michael Keaton is the best live action Batman we've had.
yeah, it's a solid film. It's one of those, especially like I love going back to those older movies where it's more about the vibe than the plot, you know?
I mean, I love that original.
If that makes sense.
I love that original Batsuit because it's like he can't turn his head.
Where he can't turn his fucking head.
Yeah, it's so stupid, but I love it.
It's so dumb.
Like he's just walking and he like is just like so stiff, and I'm like this.
He's like,
Yeah, it's the digital effects. I still love the Batmobile from those movies, though.
oh yeah, for sure. It's classic.
All right, number 9. I have Perfect Blue. This is one of my personal favorite anime films. One of my favorite films. This movie is best described as a mindfuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
in like every way possible. And I'm still, since we've watched it, have you figured out any more of it, or are you still confused?
I'd probably have to watch it again. Um, and I'm still not totally sure how I feel about it.
Yeah, it's one of those films that's literally like designed just to mess with you, and I love it. I love the psycho, like the animation's amazing. I love Satoshi Kon's style. I love like just how dark it gets, and then the payoff is so fucking amazing because it like leaves you get like one last mind fuck, and you're just like,
Yeah.
fuck, did I just watch?
I'm not gonna lie, I was seriously toying with putting Tokyo Godfathers on this list, but I didn't end up doing it.
Still amazing. That's his tamest film, and it's still
It's
mental.
amazing. It's a great movie.
It really is.
I still need to get a copy of it.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
my number 9 is The Iron Giant.
Oh, I did not even think of Iron Giant.
Because that was like my favorite fucking movie when I was a kid, and it's still today. Like every time I go back to it, it just kills me how fucking good that movie is.
Yeah, no, no one got it either, which was depressing when it came
Yeah,
out.
it did not get like any sort of like it got like a cult following later, but like, and I remember we used to see like the previews for it on VHS tapes all the time back in the day, but I feel like it didn't catch on quick enough.
It didn't catch on, and the marketing for it was terrible because they did not advertise it well at all.
Yeah, it was a very different movie than what they were showing in the previews.
Well, because they made it look like it was going to be an action movie, but it ended up being it's much more of like a wholesome, like kind of like coming of age kind of story with like the whole
It's like it's giant robot ET essentially.
kinda. It really kind of is because like the robot is so expressive. Voiced by Vin Diesel, which I still find funny.
Yeah, that still blows my mind.
Which that was Vin
with
Diesel
his 3 lines in that movie.
Superman.
With his voice changer.
Yeah, and then he became Groot later down the line. God, I haven't thought of that. I need to get that on DVD at some point because I don't think I own a copy of that anymore.
It's so good. It's one of my favorite kid movies of all time.
It's still beautifully animated too. Like the
Oh,
animation is gorgeous.
Because it was still at that time when they were still doing like the classic animation style.
Well, yeah, it was still all hand drawn, like cells and stuff.
No, that's one of those movies I always go back, and it has like that distinct like 50s sci-fi vibe to it. Because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to take place like around the 50s or 60s. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's a scene where he's in the class and they're doing like a drill of like what to do if a fucking nuke is dropped on their town, and there's like, oh, just hide under the desk. And then there's like the stupid cartoon of like the giant crater, but the kid under the desk is fine.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I need to try and get my daughter into it more. It's really hard to get her into new movies.
That one I feel like she'll need to be a little older because that's a movie that like I feel like a kid can watch it and enjoy it, but I feel like you need to be a little bit older to truly grasp it.
Yeah, to grasp the like gravity of the story of it.
Because it's a touching film. Like the ending is still emotional.
Yeah, and we still got left waiting, because they had that ending where you see all the parts moving together, like he's gonna reform. And we're like, are we gonna get an Iron Giant 2? Just nope, never happens ever.
I feel like it was supposed to be like ambiguous like that. Like it was kind of left like that he's okay, but you don't really know what happens next.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah. God, that is a cut that I have not thought of in quite some time. All right. So my next favorite film, my number 8, is The Fly. The only horror film, well, Perfect Blue, I guess it's also horror, but the main horror film that I really enjoyed. This movie is like one of those films that like the effects are disturbing, but it's more the mental just collapse that you see that really fucks with you.
Mhm.
Like this film, like when we did it for the for Halloween last year, it was so depressing to watch because you just like you're literally just watching all this shit all because of one mistake, and like that ending is just tragic
Yeah,
in so many ways. The effects too are insane for the time.
it's practical effects, man. So people need to hop on that practical effects again because the CG shit is just it's okay sometimes depending on how you use it, but you just can't beat practical effects.
CG is good when it's done well, but practical 9 out of 10 times works. Like there's a reason why those Star Trek movies, like the ones that use like a mix, look so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're minimal with the CG for the ships, and then they do practical for basically everything else.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
just looks so good. Oh man, yeah. No, I love The Fly. Don't watch the sequel though. The sequel's kind of shit.
That's fair. So yeah, my next pick is the only explicitly like comedy film on my list here is Pineapple Express.
That is a movie that I've been meaning to try to watch, but I've just never been able to really get into it.
It's one of those like really chaotic like stoner kind of comedies.
I was never
Like,
big into the stoner comedy, so I think that's probably why.
well, the plot of it is essentially that like the Seth Rogen character, um, like he's buying weed off of what's his name, James Franco, who's like your classic like hippie pot dealer, and
Yep.
he's like he's hanging out with him, but he's like doesn't really like him that much, and then he's like going to like serve somebody some papers because that's what he does for a living. And he witnesses a murder, and then fucking the people like figure out who he is, and they're trying to chase him down, and basically turns into like them being in the middle of this giant drug uh drug gang war.
Mm.
And it's just them like cracking dumb jokes though, not like dumb jokes, but like they make sense in the moment when you're actually thinking like, oh, they're actually high as fuck right now trying to do all this serious shit.
Mm.
And it works better than like say the Harold and Kumar movies where it's a similar kind of thing.
See, those movies I remember mostly just for the stupidity.
I mean, I still enjoyed the Harold and Kumar movies, but I think Pineapple Express, like as a complete package, just works better as a film.
See, I'll only ever remember Harold and Kumar for the White Castle one in the fucking battle shit scene.
Battle shits. You want to play Battle shits?
I found that fucking scene on YouTube back when I first discovered YouTube, and I was fucking so confused. I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
that movie's ridiculous. All those movies are ridiculous.
Yeah, I've tried Pineapple Express a few times. It's one of those movies where I just don't think the humor's for me.
That's fair. And you're also not a huge Seth Rogen fan either.
No, I'm really not. like when I think Seth Rogen, like the earliest movie I think are like he was in Superbad, right?
Yes, he was a bit part, but yeah, he was in it.
Okay, that's probably why I like that one. Superbad was okay. I liked This Is the End, but that's because This Is the End is basically just making fun of those guys the entire movie.
It's just them making fun of themselves the whole time. Yeah,
Yeah, that's probably why I like that one.
I saw that one in theaters. That was a fucking weird experience.
I did too, and I was just like, "What the fuck is this?"
it was strange.
I was like, "Thank God I didn't have to pay for this," because I got in because I had a friend who worked at the theater, so he could get free tickets, and I was like, "Fuck it, why not?"
I still love that they spoiled the end of that movie at the very beginning.
Yes,
it's great.
Oh man, all right. So for number 7, I have Almost Famous, which, fun fact, this is a movie we were supposed to do for a film swap, but the English version, streaming, yeah, the English version wasn't available for some reason.
I should have watched the Spanish version.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't have worked hit the same way. Almost Famous is a fun film, though. It's another one of those movies that like was misunderstood when it first came out, because no one got it. But then it's gained a massive cult following over the years. It's essentially a biopic about Cameron Crowe, the director, and it kind of follows like it's a very lucid adaptation of like him He's like following this band. The band in the movie's fake, but I think it was supposed to be like the Allman Brothers in like in real life.
Mhm.
And he's a kid who came from like one of those like crazy like religious like families. I think it was religious, but he essentially is like he discovers music at a young age and wants to become a music writer. Um, and he goes on this whole like journey with this band, like going like across country to write for them, and it's just basically like the story of how he goes in as this like green like kid, and then comes out like jaded and just kind of done with the industry, but he ends up writing this huge piece for Rolling Stone. And that's how he gets his big job. But there's like so many like famous quotes in this movie. Like one of my favorites is always like the mom character is like she's like one of those like typical like psycho housewives from like that era. This was like the 70s, I think, like 70s, 70s, 60s, I believe.
Okay.
And there's a famous scene where they're at a hotel, and the guy at the desk is like, "Are you William Miller?" He's like, "Yes." He's like, "We got a call from your mother, Elaine. She's quite a handful." And just like that. Which is really funny because it's just funny shit. Like whenever I hear that stuff. And then like there's another part where like he's the dickhead guitar player from the band who's like this constantly like just like he's trying to get an interview with him the entire time, and like he constantly is like blowing him off because he's trying to cheat on his wife with one of the groupies who was played by Kate Hudson in one of her earliest roles. And William Miller's also in love with this groupie at the same time, so it's like kind of a tense thing. But there'll be points where like he's like talking to the guitar player character, and his mom's like calling him, and the guitar player takes his phone like the fuck with him. Then like he spends 5 minutes listening to the mom, and he just gives the phone back, and he's like, "Is that your mom? She freaked me out, man." Like just like that. He's at one point he's like completely just like out of his mind on drugs on like a pool, like at a party on like a roof, and like William's like telling him like he's like, "Don't jump in the pool," and the whole time he's like up on the roof, he's like screaming, "I am a golden god. I'm on drugs," and then just jumps in the pool. There's like this whole crazy scene towards the end of the movie where to like get to places faster, they get like a private jet, and their manager that they hire, because they fire their original manager, they get a manager who's played by Jimmy Fallon. They're on this whole plane, and this becomes like the key like moment of like the thing where the plane all of a sudden they go through like it's like one of those like private tiny planes, so it's kind of sketchy for the era. And they're going through like a storm, and like the plane is like shaking, and they all think they're about to die, so they're basically all just like dropping like all of their tea basically on each other because the band is like falling apart by this point, and they're going through all these like things, and like it's just like psycho, like all this like these like very deep like moments, like William finally just tells the guitar player off for all his bullshit. And then at one point the drummer gets up and he just goes, I'm gay, okay. And then they go through the turbulence and they're fine, and it's just this awkward silence. Because keep in mind, this movie takes place in like the 70s, so like, you know, it probably was a different time. But the whole thing is just hilarious. Like, it is a funny movie.
Oh yeah, we'll have to finally get around to doing that one.
Oh yeah, it's just one of those crazy movies. All right.
My next pick is also the only horror movie I have on this list, is The Mist, which I won't go into too much detail because this is a movie that you have not seen, and it is also a movie that I will be choosing for one of my picks for spooky season later this month or later this year. So, but essentially the concept is this big storm happens, like this family that lives on a lake. There's this big, huge storm, and then the next day there's this mist rolling in across the lake they live on, and then the dad and the kid have to go to like the store to get some like supplies or whatever, and then all hell breaks loose because the mist finally rolled all the way into the town, and some sort of dimensional break happened, and all these fucked up monsters have just taken over the world in the mist. And it's basically like the vast majority of the movie is just the dad and his kid and all these people in this supermarket just fucking figuring out how to stay alive. And it is based on a Stephen King book, novella, and it is mostly dead on accurate. They do change the ending, and that is part of the reason why it is such a wild fucking ride.
Nice.
And there's also if we can work out the planning of it, there is a black and white version, and I think that's what we should watch for this. But unfortunately, the only way to access that is through the Blu-ray, which I do have a rip for. So if we wanted to try and do a watch party, we could do it that way. But
okay.
A lot of people say that the black and white way is the definitive way to watch it, because the movie itself is kind of like it's like a tribute to like old monster movies.
Gotcha.
So it's very good.
Nice. All right, moving on to number 6. My number 6 pick is Ford versus Ferrari.
That's a recent movie, isn't it?
This is a pretty recent movie. It is a 2019 biographical sports drama. It is essentially, it's known as Le Mans 66 in Europe, but as that title would suggest, it is a film basically discussing it basically talks about the Ford Motor Company and their the story about how they built the Ford GT40 for the 1966 Le Mans 24 Hours, and it's essentially a biography of Carroll Shelby and Ken Miles, who were two famous racers and engineers from back in the day. Like Carroll Shelby obviously created like Shelby cars, like
yeah.
It's a cool story. Like they really go deep into like the whole story about the build up, like creating the car, like the actual how they like raced Ferrari in the race and won. Technically, like the ending is sad because like it does biographically get into like the fact that Ken Miles did die like driving the next iteration of that car the following year. But it's got Matt Damon and Christian Bale in it, and they steal the fucking show. Like the acting is so good. Like it's super for the time accurate. Like the racing scenes are super cool. Like it's just one of those racing movies that's like really fun.
Oh yeah. I've never been like super crazy about racing movies in general. There's a couple that I've seen that I liked Gone in 60 Seconds. But I also I just like older movies, you know. And I know that movie's not like incredibly old, but it was Nicolas Cage before Nicolas Cage started just playing Nicolas Cage. So
Nicolas Cage before he became Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, weirdly enough, I've seen a few of those movies. Like, have you ever seen Bringing Out the Dead?
I don't believe so.
Nicolas Cage plays an EMT in that movie, and it's kind of a fucked up movie because the whole time he's like kind of being haunted by like this teenage girl he wasn't able to save, and it's just kind of like it's not really a descent into madness movie, but it's kind of like he's trying to resist like a mental break the whole time. It's actually really good. I think that was like a 90s movie.
Nice.
I watched it for the first time on VHS, so that should tell you something.
Yeah.
But anywho, my next pick is The Departed.
Okay.
And I don't know. I mean, well, first of all, this is just an incredible movie in general. You've seen it, obviously, right?
It's been a while, so I don't really remember much of it.
It's not a movie I watch like a wicked lot. It's one that I put on every few years, and it's one of those like wild movies where it just has like an incredible cast. Like the cast itself alone sells the movie on you.
Oh, it's another Matt Damon movie.
Yeah, Matt Damon, Leo DiCaprio,
Jack Nicholson,
Nicholson. Yep, Mark Wahlberg. What's his name? I forget his name. But it's just a ton of very well known actors.
Oh, Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen. That's what I was. That's what I was trying to think of. But yeah, it's God. If you haven't seen The Departed, please go watch The Departed. It's not the best movie of all time, even though a lot of people say it is, but it is a fucking incredible movie.
Well, it's a Martin Scorsese film, so.
And it's just the way that they it's honestly, this is a better Death Note movie than the Netflix Death Note movie.
Like, I mean, that's not hard.
Because the whole like conceit of the plot is you have Matt Damon and Leo DiCaprio, where one is a gang member who infiltrated the cops, and the other is a cop who infiltrated the gang, and they are trying to figure out who each other are throughout the course of the movie, and it's just done so fucking well.
That's fun.
And the ending is fucking mind blowing.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'll have to add that on my list. I know I've seen it, but I don't remember it.
It's a very fun film.
Nice. All right. So now for number 5, I have Big Fish.
I am not familiar with that one.
So Big Fish was a 2003 film. It was a Tim Burton film back when Tim Burton was at his peak, I'd say. It stars Ewan McGregor as William Bloom, Edward Bloom, the main character, the younger version of him, because he also has his older self played by Albert Finney. It's one of those movies that's very interesting because it's a case of you got you're kind of going back and forth between the present and the past, and the whole story is it's basically the main character Edward Bloom. He's a storyteller, but he's also a very unreliable narrator. Like the things he tells are true, but like he embellishes the shit out of everything. So like you get his whole like life. He's out on his last legs, and the movie's taking place toward like as he's dying. And it essentially he gives his life story essentially, like all the events, like when he grew up, how he became an adult, went to war, met the love of his life, stuff like that. And the whole thing is it's like he and his son are like his son are estranged, and his son doesn't believe the stories because he's just so over them. So it's kind of a case of the son is learning the stories, and then we eventually the payoff is really cool because eventually like you get to the funeral at the end, and like you do realize you meet like all the people from the stories, and you realize that while they were embellished, they all did actually happen. It's a cool story. It's one of those things where it's like it's the most Tim Burton movie you'd probably watch. It's got that Tim Burton charm to it, because it's got all the staples. Danny Elfman did the soundtrack. Helena Bonham Carter plays a character. Danny DeVito's in it. This is before he had what's his name in all his movies?
Johnny Depp
in all his movies, but
I was gonna ask about that.
No, this is pre Johnny Depp. It does have Miley Cyrus, believe it or not, like a young Miley Cyrus.
That's a choice.
She was like a child at that point, so it was before she was anybody significant. No, it's one of those. It's just a fun movie. It's worth a watch, honestly. Very Tim Burton if you're a fan of Tim Burton stuff.
I've liked the movies I've seen. Was it? I don't know if I'm getting confused. Did Tim Burton do that Sleepy Hollow movie that Johnny Depp was in? I feel like there was a Tim Burton movie.
The 1995 film, 1999 film.
Film with Johnny Depp, yeah.
Yep, that was Tim Burton.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes so much sense.
Is Helena Bonham Carter in it? I don't think she is. No, this must have been before that era. But Danny Elfman did the soundtrack, so that's all that matters.
That was a fun movie. I like that movie. I haven't watched it in a long time though.
Nice.
So my next pick, which is something we mentioned in passing before we started recording, Suzume.
Nice.
Um, God, this is just an incredible. It's probably one of the best anime films I've ever seen. Period, because just like the way that they handle the story itself, and like the intricate nature of like the characters' relationships between each other. We covered the movie a little while ago on our show, and which I highly recommend listening to that episode in particular. My wife was on it, and she went off.
Sure did.
um, but the way that they handled the whole like hero's journey in that movie, and with like kind of just like fixing relationships along the way, and like so many different reveals that happen throughout. The chair still makes no sense, but I still love it anyway.
It's very much a coming of age story mixed with disaster film mixed with love story.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely one of those movies that I have come back to a few times, and I've only seen it for the first time 2 years ago.
I still sit here and go, because I'm still like always debating, like, do I like it more than Your Name or do I like Suzume more?
I still flip flop.
lately it's definitively been Suzume, but like Your Name is still right up there.
Your Name. I really struggled about which one I wanted to put on here, and I didn't. See, that's the thing, is it was really hard for me to not just put Flanagan movies and Stephen King movies and Shinkai movies. It's just all throughout this list.
To be fair with Shinkai movies, it's really only two of them that are really worth it.
But... Well, true, but there's another anime movie on this list, and then if I had done the two Shinkai movies and then that one, it would have been like, all right, well, now I got 3 anime movies on this list, and then the rest would have been all Stephen King and Mike Flanagan. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, we'll get into more Suzume later, because it's if you didn't know, it was on my list as well. So when we get to it, we'll just copy paste basically.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my number 4 pick is This Is Spinal Tap.
I'm not familiar with that one.
So This Is Spinal Tap is a mockumentary, is the best way to describe it. It's a Rob Reiner mockumentary which follows the band Spinal Tap, who are a...
Oh, you know what? I think I have seen this around. I don't think I've watched it, but I am familiar with it.
So it's... Spinal Tap's hilarious because they're not technically a real band, but they also are, because they have toured. Because fun fact, the 3 main actors in this film, Christopher Guest, Michael McCain, and Harry Shearer, who you may know more as one of the many voices on The Simpsons. Mm-hmm. He's Ned Flanders, essentially. Okay. They actually played like their instruments. Like they sang, played guitar and bass. They had a session drummer who was also the drummer in the film, and a keyboard player who actually played the keyboards. So they actually technically were a real band, but not a real band. It's an interesting thing. But so the story essentially follows they're a band that's been around since like the fucking the 50s or 60s, and they had like they're a parody of like all these different like rock star like tropes and stuff. Like they get to like they're essentially a band that's like they're way past their prime and they're like struggling to stay relevant. So they're trying to release their new record and they're going on tour. And the tour is kind of like a shit show the entire way, and the band is kind of like falling apart as it's going. But there's like great moments. Like there's a point where like they're up in Boston, and their manager comes out and is like, he's basically like, "Sorry guys, the Boston gig's been canceled." But then he walks back and he goes, "Don't worry though, I don't think it's not a big college town." As he leaves, you get stuff like that. You get like there's one of the concerts they go to, they get lost backstage as they're running out to the stage. There's a point where Harry Shearer's character is going through the airport, and he gets the metal detector keeps going off, and like they keep like going back and forth. And then he just randomly reaches into his pants and pulls out a fucking tinfoil wrapped cucumber and just puts it on the desk and then just walks away. You get stuff like that. There's at one point where they're playing a show, and they're in like these big pods, and they're supposed to come out of the pods to play the show. And the bass player, his pod doesn't open, so he's stuck in the pod the entire time. And then it finally opens just for him to get out, and then like go back in, and it closes halfway on him.
Classic.
At one point, they're talking to their A&R manager, who's like, "So listen, we got to talk about your new album cover." They're like, "Oh yeah, Smell the Glove. Like, what's wrong with it?" And it's like, she's like, "Well, it's a picture of a woman bending over with a glove shoved in her face." And they're like, "Yeah, it's Smell the Glove." They're like, "That's offensive." And they're like, "Okay." So then they end up changing it to it's just a solid black image with nothing on it. There's that. There's they have a song called Big Bottom, which is just nothing but bass.
Okay.
It's amazing. Like you can buy the album. Like you can actually get the album with all the tracks. There's a point where they're starting to like break up, and they come up with this idea for their new stage show where they're going to do their song Stonehenge, and they're going to have this giant like Stonehenge lifted onto the stage. But they mixed up the standard and metric system, so when the Stonehenge gets dropped on stage, it's like this big, like tiny, and it's like this little tiny Stonehenge, and there's these two like dwarfs dancing around it. And after the show, they're like, "We're not going to do fucking Stonehenge. I don't want to see the Stonehenge get crushed by a couple of dwarfs." There's a point where like the guitar player is writing this beautiful classical piece, and they're like, "That's beautiful, Nigel. What do you call it?" And he's like, "I call it Lick My Love Pump." It's just they're one of the running jokes throughout the movie is that they go through drummers like crazy. Like they lost their first drummer in a bizarre gardening accident. They don't elaborate any farther. One of their drummers, he exploded on stage and just was a little globule left on the drum stool.
Okay.
Another one, he choked on his own vomit. No, he choked on vomit. But it wasn't his vomit. It was someone else's vomit.
Jesus.
And throughout the film, their current drummer, he's like constantly tempting fate. Like they have a scene where they're interviewing like in a bathtub, and there's a toaster right next to the tub, just chilling there. And then he explodes at the end of at the end of the movie, and then they have another drummer for their Japanese tour, because right before it's right at the end of the thing, the band's about to break up, and all of a sudden their manager pops in. He goes, "Guys, Smell the Glove went #1 in Japan." so then they're touring Japan.
Of course,
like they've gotten back together. It is one of those movies that like it didn't do well when it came out because nobody got it. But nowadays it's like considered one of the best music movies ever because it's so ridiculous. And like people like Ozzy like would always say like they didn't like the movie because it was too real. Like a lot of artists didn't realize it was a joke. There's also two versions of the film. There's two commentaries. There's two commentaries. There's one that is it's kind of like a played straight kind of thing. And then there's one where they redid it, but they're in character the entire time.
Okay.
And that one is like the best one because it's so ridiculous. It did have a sequel to somewhat recently, but I have yet to see that one.
Oh, recently? Interesting.
Yeah, it was like right before Rob Reiner was murdered.
Weird. That's good.
Yeah.
So my next one, this one's kind of like a more personal one. Well, there's actually the one after that is also. But this one is Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. It had to be on.
Okay.
I had to have one. And the reason I chose this one over any of the other ones, which really is only like maybe 3 other ones that I maybe would have put on this list, is because this one was the one that kicked off the entire new wave of Dragon Ball. Like all the new shit we've gotten in the past 15 years, give or take, is because of this movie.
Oh wow!
And at the end of the day, like this is like the perfect encapsulation of everything Dragon Ball. Like it has the comedy, it has the character moments, it has the great action. It introduced Beerus and Whis, like some of the best characters we've had in Dragon Ball since like some OG. And by the end of it, Goku loses.
He
And that's
does.
another huge thing. Like that was unheard of. And it's not like Goku had never lost, but it might be the last time he's like actually lost.
Do we count the end of Superhero?
No, because I think if they were going all out with transformations and all, I think Goku still would have won.
Fair. Because Vegeta technically has alter ego by that point, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because we've yet to see that fight.
No, we have not. We've yet to really see like the full limits of that either, because he had just unlocked that in that arc too. So
because we got to see Ultra Instinct versus Beast mode. That was what it was, right?
Yeah, Gohan Beast.
Yeah, Battle of Gods was a really good movie. I think to the point where I actively prefer the movie version over like any of the adaptions.
Yeah, agreed. The movie's the best way to do that story.
I also just I never liked the cruise ship like aspect in
Me neither.
It's also one of the oh, go on. I was gonna say it's like one of the rare moments in Dragon Ball history where Goku actually cares about Chi-Chi.
Yeah.
She's the first person he thinks of. Which was
like really funny.
it's like damn.
You would have thought it'd be Krillin or Vegeta.
Every time I see that, I'm always like, who in the writer's room had a soft spot for Chi-Chi? Like I'm just like always like sitting there thinking, which animator was that? Who was that's decision?
And this is also like before like they started doing like a lot of the fuck ups with Super, like or
before they like assassinated Chi-Chi's character.
Even before Super, because in Res F they're like, oh yeah, Gohan just kind of forgot how to do Ultimate Mode, but he does it in Battle of Gods.
Yeah, he does. They all do like effortlessly. There was a lot of character assassination after Battle of Gods.
Yeah, and that's why I think like Battle of Gods was like it really opened up the floodgates of what Dragon Ball could be going forward, and we're still waiting on more for that. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Dragon Ball Super Beerus goes.
Yeah,
I'm curious how they're going to handle that. But like when we first found out that this movie was happening, it was a huge fucking deal, and I was so disappointed I didn't get to see it in theaters.
Yeah, honestly,
it's the only one since that I haven't seen in theaters. I've seen all the others because I was not going to miss out again.
You saw Res F, right?
Yes.
What was Res F like in theaters?
It was fucking packed. There was people in cosplay. It was wild.
God, what a time.
And I will say, in the moment, watching it in theaters, before I had time to really contemplate the flaws, it was a great experience. It was great to see in theaters. Not as good as Broly, though.
No, Broly I still think was the best one entirely.
Broly was an incredible film, especially seeing it in theaters. And I went with my brother and my cousin, and we struggled to find places where we could sit together.
Because that was before
really struggling to find 3 seats in a row.
That was the before the era where you could pre-book your seats, right?
I believe so.
Because that's only like a recent thing from what I.
Yeah, and honestly, like the significance of the effect it had on Dragon Ball going forward is really the only reason I have Battle of Gods, because I struggled with that one, Broly, Superhero, and at least Fusion Reborn as far as the old ones go. Possibly Path to Power, Wrath of the Dragon. But Battle of Gods was very significant in the culture of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
So that's why I chose that one specifically.
Nice. I gotta rewatch. I really hope they do it justice with the Beerus movie.
I'm hoping. I am confident that it will be done well. They've had plenty of time to get it running, and I'm also really hoping that the theories will prove true, and that they will find a way to tie Daima into it.
I'm still hoping personally it's the manga. They're doing the manga stories for like a lot of them.
For the later stuff, yes, that would make sense. But with Battle of Gods, this like we really wanted to just cut out as soon as they go to the ship.
Well, they'd probably adapt it like differently. I'm more talking like the actual arcs.
From like the Trunks arc onward, yeah, for sure.
Well, even the tournament was slightly different.
True, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
because instead of doing Kaioken Blue, it was like a controlled blue where he sucked all the aura back into himself, so it wasn't wasting any energy.
Yeah,
I still think I like Kaioken Blue better though.
Kaioken looked better in color.
True, that's true.
Well, I mostly want to see like obviously Goku Black because I still think the comic did that one significantly better. The manga,
In a lot of ways, yeah.
And then the Tournament of Power, I'm just curious because that's also very interesting how they handle it there.
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious how they're gonna, especially since like they got. I'm curious how they're gonna handle Gohan specifically. Because we didn't see any of Rezef in the manga, and then we didn't really see Gohan do anything until Tournament of Power, and by that point he had somehow got himself back into shape enough to go toe to toe and fight a battle to a draw with Kefla, which is wild to me.
Yeah. There's a lot of plot holes in Super.
Yeah, especially when you look at Superhero and you're like, well, he just kind of forgot how to go past anything the regular Super Saiyan. I'm like, he just fought Kefla. Like that wasn't that long ago.
And he pulls out this new form that he's got out of nowhere, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they handle all this remake stuff, and if they'll find a way to make it make more sense, or if they'll just make it prettier and more quick, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So my number 3 is Suzume. So copy and paste everything we said previously and put it here.
Yeah.
Because I basically have the same thoughts.
I fucking love that movie. It's so good.
It is. Beautiful movie.
Between the music, the fucking art style, which is just the art style in all of Shinkai's movies, whether you like them or not, the art style is always fucking amazing.
So much bloom.
He loves the stars, man. He's got a thing for the stars.
He also loves like disaster. Because like there's so many disasters in his movies.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's gotta be stakes, man. It's gotta be stakes. The fucking worm. I still don't know how I feel about the worm itself as like, oh, this is like the big thing we're fighting against, but like the symbolism behind everything makes up for it all.
See, like the symbolism does make sense. I still think the meteor was more effective in Your Name.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing I will give Your Name any day. I mean, they both kick Weathering with You out of the way because fucking we flooded Tokyo is the ending. Such a dumb ending to that movie. But
for real.
Yeah, so what is your number 3?
This is gonna be a kind of a left field one. Fantasia.
That's a movie I've only ever watched in full once, but I like vividly remember the segments. Like,
yeah,
everyone remembers the brooms. Like, you can never forget the brooms.
Of course, Sorcerer's Apprentice. You can't not forget that. It's the Greek mythology section. There's the one with the dinosaurs, the hippos with the tutus. But like this movie has a really incredible personal role throughout my life. It's some of my earliest memories are watching it actually in this very house, my grandmother's house, on VHS with my grandparents and my parents. And more recently, the movie actually, believe it or not, kind of helped me come to terms with my grandfather's death. That's a story for another day. But between all that and the fact that it's also one of my daughter's favorite movies, and it has been since she was very, very little. I mean, she's still little, but I'm talking like even years ago. It's a movie that she absolutely loved.
It's
And
really
it's just an impressive and incredible piece of art, considering it's almost 100 years old at the time of recording. Is very old movie, and the fact that they were able to make the incredible artwork and the music sync up in such a significant way is still to this day mind blowing.
Yeah, because it's definitely one of those movies that's very good for children because it's very dialogue low.
There is no dialogue. The only dialogue is the in between songs when the conductor is talking about the piece that they're going to do next.
Yes,
That's the only dialogue.
And those were always the parts where kids got bored.
Yeah, this is true. And I will say I didn't appreciate it as a kid, but like now as an adult, like this is unarguably one of the greatest movies ever made.
What did you think of the sequel?
It sucks. It's terrible. I mean, I don't think it's a bad movie, but it does not even come close to the sheer art of the first movie.
It also did not really make its money back. It's kind of a bomb.
Yeah, the second one is not great. It's not great.
It's insane. That was 1940.
1940, yeah. It's like by the time I'm in my 40s, that movie will turn 100.
It's insane when you think about the fact that 1940, the budget for that film was $2.28 million, which sounds like nothing nowadays, but back then that was fucking a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, because you got to figure, like, every single, like, we talk about hand-drawn animation now. This is like flipbook animation. Like, that's what they were working with at the time. Like, is this pre-Bambi? Like, this is one of the first animated films that are done to this scale ever. This might be one of the first movies that really like set the stage for what animation can be.
Yeah, it's pre World War II.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, pre-American World War II.
Yeah. I mean, does anything else matter? I'm joking.
But no, it's one of those movies that will forever be a top 3 film for me, because I literally, if I walk into a house, if I walk into somebody's living room and Fantasia is on, I'm plopping down and I'm watching it. It just, I can't help it.
It got really lucky too that they didn't really go into any of that time, like of its time stuff, because I know there's a lot of old Disney films that have been basically removed forever for their content socially, and
like Dumbo.
I was thinking
made the mistake of trying to watch that a few years ago with my daughter, and I was like, oh boy, that's real bad. That's real bad.
Yeah, that one's actually survived time. I was thinking more like Song of the South, where I'm like, yeah, you're never seeing that again.
I think that's on. Isn't it on Disney Plus?
No, that's never coming back.
I feel like maybe my uncle had a copy of it or something, because I feel like it's
you can get it on video still, like if you really want to see it, but that movie is never going on streaming because, oh boy.
Next time you get the chance, watch the opening scene of the original Dumbo, and we'll see.
Watch a lot of old animation. You'll be like, oh my, like hell, you still see it in anime every now and then, and you're just like,
yeah,
you just stare at it like, holy shit.
One thing I do also love about Fantasia is like, if like animation kind of fell off for a little while, and then like around the 60s and 70s when the big like LSD wave hit, Disney was actually promoting Fantasia. This is a great movie to watch on LSD, and
yeah,
can't confirm. Just saying.
Nice. All right. So my number 2 film is Days of Thunder. It is a 1990 sports action drama. It's another racing movie, directed by Tony Scott, who I believe was the director of Top Gun. So, I'll just say now, this movie is Top Gun with NASCAR.
Okay.
It is it's like one of the only Tom Cruise movies I like, but you don't watch this movie for Tom Cruise. You watch this movie for Robert Duvall. He steals the fucking show, the entire thing. But the movie is essentially it's a loose biography of a driver named Tim Richmond. It's basically it's about him, but they won't say it for legal reasons. And it's basically about a racer who comes from like the IndyCar scene to try NASCAR, and it's like his slow like learning the ropes kind of thing. He has this huge crash. He's out on an injury, and it's kind of like when he eventually comes back, he's not exactly like back. It's kind of like Talladega Nights, but actually serious. And he goes through this whole like rebuilding his career thing, and it ends with like this one final big race where he ends up winning this huge thing. But it's just like one of those cool movies. Like they actually the tech behind it is the coolest because they actually retrofitted cars with cameras, and like NASCAR was like, if you want to put these cars like record the races, you need to qualify on speed, like make the races with these cars. So they actually made the races, and like they ran a few laps to get footage, and then they pull off. But like they were like actually doing practical effects, where they were like basically just doing demolition derbies to get the wreck scenes.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, the acting is classic. Like Tom Cruise sucks, but he's Tom Cruise doing Tom Cruise. But like you get like Michael Rooker plays the quote unquote villain / rival character. Randy Quaid's in it before he went insane. Cousin Eddie's in it basically before he lost his mind. Robert Duvall plays like the crew chief, and he steals every scene he's in. It's like phenomenal. There's a ton of like actual NASCAR people in it. It's like the quintessential NASCAR movie to watch.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just Top Gun, but fucking with cars.
Nice. Very nice. So my number 2 movie we covered on the show, The Life of Chuck.
Okay.
This is the only like really I guess Suzume is recent too, but like The Life of Chuck, even though I've only seen it twice, was such an emotionally impactful movie.
Does that count the time we watched it for the episode?
Yes, that was the second time I watched it.
Okay.
It was such an emotionally impacting film from beginning to end. And it's also kind of a mind fuck, but the mind fuck happens like a third into the movie.
Yeah, that was it, because it's a movie in reverse. But it's like it's so weird how it's like 3 segments in reverse.
Yeah. Where you're starting with the end of this guy's life, and you end at like him as a child. Like
and then you find out like why. And it's like this whole bizarre thing.
But it's almost like the feelings you get at like a really heartwarming funeral. Like it's a celebration of life. And which is part of the reason why I push for this being a Thanksgiving episode, is because it just, and the level of acting that went to it. You got Mark Hamill, Tom Hiddleston. I don't know. I can't pronounce the name of the guy who was like the main character of the first segment, but he was fucking incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy. But no, it especially like when you realize what's happening, when you actually like the pieces come together, and you're like, oh, I see what this first act is, or third act, I guess, if you want to go by what the movie
I always forget that the freaking Martian Manhunter's in this movie.
He is?
Sam Yarborough, Carl Lumbly.
Was he the
Martian
old dude that he was talking to on the bench?
The elderly mortician that Marty encounters.
Yes. Yeah, because he also played Dick Halloran in Doctor Sleep.
Yeah.
And he's
He
been in a few other Mike Flanagan films.
he was Martian Manhunter in the Justice League cartoon, Justice League Unlimited.
Wasn't aware of that. That's interesting. He gets a whole bunch of comic book actors in his stuff. He has Tom Hiddleston, Mark Hamill, fucking actually Carla Gugino, because she was in Watchmen.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh yeah, and Kate Seagal's also in this movie. Was also in this movie.
Yeah, she was the teacher who explained the concept of what was it? I forget the name of it, but the whole concept of like the worlds existing within worlds, like that whole.
Yep.
I contain multitudes. That was the thing.
Yes.
But no, like that movie, it's such a heartwarming movie. It's one of those movies. I literally cannot recommend this movie enough to anybody. I've been fucking on my family's ass to watch this movie since it came out, and they won't fucking do it. And it's pissing me off.
The difficult part with this movie is
you can't explain it. You can't.
Well, yeah, because
you can't describe it.
The second you say it's a movie in reverse, they immediately go, nah. Like they're just not interested.
You literally just can't tell them a thing about you have to go on this movie blind. Period.
Yeah.
But when you do, by the end of it, you're like, that was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I know the people I've recommended to have either they can't get past the reverse part or they're just not Mike Flanagan fans.
That's fair, I guess. I disagree, but sure.
All right. And now
wait, can I guess?
Sure.
Is it Talladega Nights?
No.
No, wow, really? No. Didn't make your top 10. Okay.
No. Days of Thunder is my favorite NASCAR movie. So
okay. All right. Continue then.
Completely not even close. My number one favorite movie of all time is Full Metal Jacket.
Okay. I don't think I've actually seen that.
We'll have to do it for an episode at some point. Full Metal Jacket is a Stanley Kubrick film based around the I believe it's the Vietnam War. And it starts off with boot camp, and they eventually it goes through the whole thing where they're actually in the war. But the whole thing with this movie is the fact that Scorsese really wanted it to be as accurate as possible to what the military was at the time. So they had an actor hired to play the drill instructor, and they brought in R. Lee Ermey to be the advisor for the role, and the guy just couldn't do it. So eventually R. Lee Ermey was like, I'll do it. And this movie kickstarted his acting career to the point where now he was before he passed away, he was the military dude that would appear in so many things. And there's so many iconic roles. He's got the whole the let me see your war face, or the all those classic lines. There's a lot of lines in this movie that I can't say because they haven't aged well in modern times. But it's a movie that is really dark at times, the Private Pile, where he's the company screw up essentially, and he screws up so much to the point where he gets blanket partied one night while in drill, where they tie him down, they beat him with soap, like socks.
Okay.
It was a real thing that they did. But that whole thing basically fucking fucks him mentally. So he's basically a psychopath for the rest of boot camp. And then they find out during gun training that he's really good. He's a really good shot. You can see where this is going. Eventually on the final day of boot camp, he snaps, kills the instructor, and then kills himself. And it's just a super dark scene, and then they immediately go right into Vietnam from there. And it gets dark. It somehow gets darker.
Yeah, well, Vietnam was fucked.
Yeah, it was. The movie though it's just one of those fascinating movies, because you go from that dark scene, and then you get the literal one of the most iconic funny scenes where you get the Vietnamese lady of the evening, I guess we'll call her. Um, she basically shows up to the main characters who are chilling, and she's like, "Hey, baby, you got a girlfriend in Vietnam? $5 sucky sucky. He's so horny." It is one of the most
Is that where
hilarious
that line
scenes.
comes from?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It is the mood whiplash is so fucking insane. And then it goes from that, and then we get like legit war stuff where like "Bird is the Word" starts playing as they're like just doing like blowing shit up.
Jesus.
And then it's just dark as fuck for like the rest of the movie. It's an amazing film. It is mental to watch, but like I love revisiting that movie.
Oh yeah.
That was like one of
I'll
the
have to
first
watch
movies
it.
we'll have to do it for a Geek Addicts at some point. It's one of those movies where it's like the first movie I really saw with like heavy profanity, and I was like, what the fuck?
We are due for a film swap anyway.
Problem is all the good movies aren't on streaming.
Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure the one I want for the next one, like if you do Full Metal Jacket, the one I'd want to do, I'm pretty sure is streaming. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So what do you got for your number one?
No surprise to anybody. It's Lord of the Rings.
Carry on.
I also refuse to pick a specific movie because my favorite shifts daily. And you really can't just pick one definitively because it's a continuous story, you know. It's like trying to pick like my favorite arc in Full Metal Alchemist is like or an Attack on Titan. Like there is no favorite arc. It's all one big story. It's this, you know, it's a continuous process. But like God, again, just like with Fantasia, it is one of those stories that stands the test of time. It's been around since almost as long, and continues to be a huge influence on fucking everything today. Fucking RPGs wouldn't be the same without Lord of the Rings. Fantasy, the genre itself wouldn't be the same without Lord of the Rings. Almost every fucking major fantasy author today is a fan of Lord of the Rings. It's just the quintessential story, in my opinion. I watch the movies at least once a year. I read the books at least every other year. I just love it. It's great.
Nice. I've tried. Still can't do it. But
I know you have, and I continue to be disappointed in you, but I'll still let it slide.
that's unfortunately the one you'll just never win.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so that was our top 10. Surprising lists, actually. They're not as where I thought they were going to go. I'm actually amazed I didn't have a superhero movie in there.
I only had the one, and that's just because that particular Batman movie is like, that's one of my earliest memories is watching that movie.
That's fair.
Plus, you know, I think I have two Jack Nicholson movies on here. That's one of them.
Yeah. All right. We should probably get into the topic now.
Yeah.
Segment, I should say. All right. So, Haunting of Hill House. We'll do this one today. This episode was interesting.
It was a heavy one.
Is it weird that I like the episode, but I also thought it was completely all over the place?
It was, but it also was less all over the place than the previous 5 episodes. Because I alluded to it last week, but this is a very technically impressive episode because there's only 3 scene cuts, I believe, in this entire episode. It's an hour-long episode. And the scene only cuts about maybe 3 times. And it's basically just following them around. Like, the whole, like, 3 specific takes were spliced together for this. For, like, 3 different, like, scene cuts. And the way that the camera moving around and following them and spinning around during different scenes and having different effects in that way it's just wild. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure you felt it as you were watching, even if you didn't pick up on exactly that was what they were doing. You can tell like this is being filmed very differently than almost everything else you've seen.
it helped it stay engaging because like you didn't like get distracted by the cuts. It was more just like, where the fuck are we going here? Because like we'd go around a corner and then suddenly we're in Hill House, and then we'd go back and we're suddenly back here.
Yeah.
So it was interesting seeing the full cast finally together.
Yeah.
And this was the point where, weirdly enough, I think Luke was the most likable character here.
Again, he was once again the most likable character.
But that's mostly because he was the only guy who seemed to be human here dealing with shit.
Well, aside from Hugh, he was the only one there who was sober. So,
ironically, yeah, I was a little worried there watching that because I'm like, Jesus Christ, they're going nuts. Like you think you'd feel bad for the recovering addict, but then again, they also don't seem to care about him that much at times.
Yeah, no kidding. Although I will say one of my favorite things about this episode, though, is when Luke first attempts to like approach the casket, and then he backs off and he says he can't do it. And this is the first time we actually Steve as an adult being a big brother.
Yeah, I did notice that. It gets kind of shit on later in the episode, but
a little bit, yeah.
They all kind of shit on each other in this episode quite a bit.
Yeah, well, this is very much one of those kinds of like all of our dirty laundry is getting aired out as much as possible here.
Yeah, and I was like, when it started, because it starts out, and I'm like, huh, Cheryl's actually being rather nice and sane for once.
Well, she's also in business mode because this is what she does for a living.
True.
So it's actually not. Yeah, they have their like argument and everything, but like she doesn't truly break until the casket falls, and then the body is not fixed.
Yeah,
as she puts it.
Yeah, because like the it all starts breaking down when the book inevitably gets brought up again.
Of course.
And then the big reveals with all the they all took the money.
Yeah, no kidding.
Theo was fucking out of control in this episode.
Well, I'm pretty sure she was drunk already by the time the episode started.
Yeah, I kind of got that implication because she literally starts out the thing where she just goes, they say they're sleeping. She's not sleeping. She looks dead.
Yeah,
I mean, she looks great, but she looks dead.
Yeah, they always say in the movies they look like they're sleeping, but she does not look like she's sleeping. She looks dead.
Yeah, it's like, damn.
And then like, I love how like it's a constant thing where like people are constantly going to and from the bar throughout the episode.
Yeah.
And actually, it's a funny thing, like when Hugh shows up, and Kevin, Shirley's husband, I remember his name this time. Kevin is doing the whole like, oh, do you need food, drinks, or anything, whatever? And Theo makes the quip about like, oh, this is his coping mechanism. He turns into a waiter. But if you actually pay attention to her throughout this episode, her coping mechanism is becoming a bartender because she's handing out drinks to everybody throughout this episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will say, like towards the beginning, before everybody started showing up, when Shirley and Theo were talking, and they are talking about Luke specifically, and they're like, oh, like they say this happened or that happened, and like they're basically doing the whole like, oh, better hide our purses and everything else, but like he's easily the most put together person here, which is kind of wild.
Put together despite him looking like absolute hell throughout this
episode. That's because he got the shit kicked out of him and he got robbed. Yeah.
Then he's emotionally destroyed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they all kind of are. I mean, because we got the whole scene where Steve was trying to comfort Luke and get him, good enough to be able to do what he needs to do, whatever. But then when they both approach the casket together, Steve's the one who breaks first and walks away. And he makes
Yeah,
the stupid joke about that's her detective positive ID.
Dead Nell. Just walks off. Yeah. It's just like, Jesus, man.
But I mean, I get he's the oldest brother. That's the youngest sibling in the casket there, and like I get it. Like that's how I would feel if I was in his position, you know. And I'm also I'm notoriously terrible at funerals. I'm so bad. Like I have this nervous tick, this anxious tick, where I all of a sudden will get the giggles at funerals. It's bad. It's real bad. That's why I don't like going to funerals.
Yeah. I'm good at emotionally just turning everything off, so I'm usually pretty okay. But I don't go to a lot of funerals. So
well, I've only been to a few myself, but every single one always ends up the same way, and it's bad. Hopefully I work that out eventually.
It's amazing how, like, throughout the first half of the episode, they're all for the most part pretty okay. It's when Hugh shows up that shit starts to break down.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that is I think that is intentional. Is in this episode in particular, because this is where we see the most of old Hugh, and I started to pick up a lot on the performances of Timothy Hutton as old Hugh and Henry Thomas as young Hugh. And I still even right now can't figure out who's trying to emulate who, or if they're both trying to emulate each other. But I completely buy that Timothy Hutton is a broken old version of Henry Thomas's character.
Because he speaks in like riddles. I swear.
Yeah. Well, it's also like he's stuttering. He's unsure of himself. He's always like on the edge of something, but we can't tell what it is. But he's always about to tip over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even like, and Cindy actually made the comment because we were watching it together, that I would be the Kevin of this situation because in the scene where Hugh first comes up and he's talking to the kids, and Theo says, "Oh yeah, it's been a minute," and he goes, "It's been more than a minute, or it's been a long minute," and then Kevin does like the really awkward laugh to the joke before he offers like get stuff or whatever it is. It's like yeah, that's probably me. Yeah.
Yeah. We also get Dead Nell hanging out in the background of most of these shots.
Actually, the first couple where like when Steve turns around when he's at the bar after the first attempt, and he turns around, right? That was Liv. And then he turns around again, and it's her again, but she's closer.
Yeah, because I know you see Nell a few times because the neck's snapped, like hanging around.
Yeah. I think it's mostly Hugh that sees her.
Because I know this when he's having his big speech with them all in the room, and like you see her just in the background, and they don't like acknowledge it because like most of the characters do like that whole like they're like they shake their head. He doesn't bring that one up. It's just like the cameraman's like, oh, there's Nell hanging out. Yeah,
it is kind of funny how Steve has been seeing like just as many ghosts as everybody else, but he's still dead set on the mental illness thing. Like
he's dead set. Like Shirley's dead set on it. Theo just kind of exists at times.
Yeah. Well, Theo knows that there's more to it because she has extrasensory perception.
Yeah.
And even like the scene where she finally like says like, you know what, fuck it, I took the money. And I could see the gears turning in her head as she's doing it because she decided to say it at that moment because it was the moment where she fell and hit her head and they're all like rushing over to help her up. And she has her whole "don't touch me" thing. And then she's like, I have enough of my grief. I don't need to feel yours either. And Shirley makes the comment of whatever that means. As if everybody there doesn't already know what Theo's deal is. So that was the point where she was like, all right, you know, fuck it. I took the money. Fuck you, Cheryl. Because
they don't know about her thing or they just don't believe it, right?
Well, I think it depends on the person. Obviously, Nell believed it because she fucking made her fly across the country to go touch a pillow. But as far as Steve and Shirley go, they're the skeptics, I believe, of the siblings.
Luke also stays out of this entire conversation, that the whole argument. He basically just sits in the background this whole scene.
Well, aside from the Hugh stuff, because we have a conversation between Luke and Hugh later. But aside from that, like, he wasn't there for any of the money stuff. That was when he was on his benders and stuff,
Yeah.
He wasn't involved in any of the money. He might even not even know that they were offered the money, at that point.
Or the money was being used to pay for his rehab.
Also, yes. That's also possible.
That's kind of a theory I was having.
I think that's probably pretty accurate, especially since Steve was supposed to throw in on the initial rehab payment, but Shirley ended up paying the whole thing. That was before the Hill House book came out.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I really love the scene when Hugh first shows up, and we get that 360 camera pan twice. And the first time around, we see
it's their kids, and
Hugh seeing them as they were at Hill House as small children, and then it spins back around and they're adults again.
I will say,
was such a well done scene.
I will say the follow up of that though, once they, when he finally walks up to the casket, it's child Nell in the casket. My literal thought was, that's fucked.
Yeah, for sure.
I was I think I said that out loud as it happened. I was like, what the? I'm like, symbolically I get it, but fuck, like really?
Yeah. It was rough, for sure. Actually, I watched it with Cindy earlier today, and pretty much half the time she had like standing tears in her eyes.
Yeah, this was a dark episode.
It's definitely a rough one, and like the
darkest scene is the whole fight. The fight is the darkest part of this.
Yeah, like the whole when because we got to the point where eventually like they're all telling stories about Nell, and then eventually because a whole story was told about how she had like the made up word, and Steve couldn't remember what the word was, and it turned out it was a puffalope for a puffed padded envelope.
Yeah.
And he told the whole story about that or whatever. And it turns out that she got that word from her mom, and Hugh went on this whole thing about how she used to write letters to him all the time. And then Steve gets real mad about that eventually, where he's like, you should have picked up on signs. She's been writing to you once a month since she was 6 years old, so you should know what's going on with her. Even though by that point Hugh had already said, like, no, she just tells me about what's going on with you guys. She doesn't really talk about herself. Same with her Santa letters. And the hypocrisy with Steve here is fucking like thick with two C's. Like,
well, yeah, because there's like the point where they call him out on his marriage, and he's like, "Why are we talking about this?" Like, he completely just brushes that off. Like, doesn't want to even bring it up.
Yeah, well, not even that, but like the fact that Steve was the only sibling who was within like a close proximity of Nell. Like Luke, yes, Luke was there, but he was all fucked up, as we know. But like Steve was the only one there, and she crashed the book signing where we saw in the last episode where she was yelling at him about, him making all this money and shit off of what happened to their family. And that was a month ago at this point. So if anybody had an idea of her mental state and what was probably needed, it was Steve. But he was the one trying to fucking pass the buck, pass the blame. And it's interesting too throughout this episode because you see each of the characters kind of go through each of the stages of grief throughout this episode. In a way, you can kind of assign them to each character, but at the same time, like they're constantly shifting throughout.
Yeah. There was one scene towards the end of this episode where I was like, what the fuck? Like, they didn't really follow up on it. I'm assuming it'll be brought up later.
For which part?
So when they're trying to get the lights back on, the scene where Shirley's in the basement and she opens the door and Theo and her husband are in there.
Yeah.
What was happening there?
That will be revealed in time.
Okay, because I'm assuming there's gonna be something. Because all I thought was,
you're a lesbian. What are you doing?
This doesn't add up. Something's happening here.
Yeah.
I was very confused by that scene because I'm like, this seems so out of place with everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, right.
Okay. That's what I assume that's going to be explained later. But
So we haven't talked too much about the past segments of this episode, because after the whole scene when Hugh first like looks at Nell's body in the casket, he asks for a bathroom and he walks off. And as he's walking down the hallway, eventually he turns the corner and he's back in Hill House, and he's
just in time for the chandelier to fall.
And then he watches himself as a young man run down the stairs and like do all this stuff. And there's not like a ton in this segment that's like super important. A lot of it's more like just, you know, family time. But there are some important things in here. Well, first of all, the fact that I don't know if you caught this, because I mean they do kind of mention it, but like when Hugh comes down the stairs, he's coming from the left side. But when Liv comes down from the stairs, she comes from the right side, which indicates they were coming from two different places.
Yeah.
So, and then like Hugh makes the comment of like, "Where were you?" And she's like, "Well, I think I was maybe sleepwalking. I guess I don't know." But obviously, we know there's more to it than that, because
we see the whole
progresses,
the fuckiness that starts and the weird parallels between, like when they cut between scenes.
Yeah, the Scooby-Doo chase scene we have going on here, where she goes down one hallway and he goes down to the hallway, and then he turns around and she's down the other hallway, at the other end. And then she's standing in front of the window when it explodes, and all of a sudden she's down the other hallway again on the floor. Like it's.
And then the whole time they're looking for Nell, and then she's like, "I was here the whole time," and I'm just like, "Dude, house is fucked."
Dude, when I not even just that, but like when I watched that scene at the very end, when she's saying all that about I was here the whole time and I was yelling and waving and screaming, but nobody noticed. Why didn't you notice? And I was like, fuck, dude, that is such a powerful metaphor for suicide and depression. Like, to the point where I'm surprised there wasn't a fucking disclaimer at the beginning of the episode.
It's almost like it's so perfectly subtle they don't need one, but at the same time, if you know, you know.
Yeah, it was. God, man, that fucking hits. That fucking hits. Especially at the very end when you're hearing the voiceover of young Nell, but we're in the present and we see her as the bent neck lady standing in front of her own casket, and we're hearing the young Nell saying, "Why didn't you see me? Why didn't you like?" Oh God, dude, that's fucking oof, rough. We also saw a few ghosts in this episode.
Yeah, the weird old lady on the bed, the wheelchair-y guy.
Well, that is like an extension of things from previous episodes. We saw Theo earlier in one of the episodes where she said this was a sick bed. An old lady was sick in this bed. There she is. And then another episode we saw Liv talk about when she was going through her whole spiel about like this is how this was, and this chair was over here, and the family would sit around here, and the books would be on the bottom shelf so that the kid in the wheelchair could get them. What do we see? We see a kid in a wheelchair ghost in this episode. And obviously Liv is not doing well in this episode.
No, this was kind of to highlight the beginning of the decline, I'm assuming.
We got like the first kind of hint of it in the last episode with the whole writing on the wall situation.
Yeah, but this was like shit's getting fucky now.
Yeah, she's cracking big time. There's another thing too. Oh, the conversation between Luke and Hugh that we had there when the lights were out, and I think Steve and Shirley were trying to turn the lights back on. They were over by the casket, and like basically they had that like moment of like connection there where they were like, yeah, she didn't kill herself, did she? It's like, no, I don't think so. And then Luke asks about their mother, and it's like, what about mom? And he's like, well, that's a little bit more complicated. Like, what does that mean though? Like,
yeah, why does he have to talk in riddles every time he's actually having a connection with one of his kids? He starts talking in fucking riddles.
And then also, like the earlier scene when like, because we keep seeing these bits when Hugh keeps like talking to the side, you know, like talking to somebody who isn't there, and like the scene where like Steve's finally starting to like get riled up and like actually like aggressively ask questions about shit, and he's like, what is that? What is that? What are you doing? Like, who are you talking to? Like, yeah. And then he's like, mental. illness. Like it's and in reality, like he'd be right. Like that's but
Yeah.
Obviously in context of the show, we know, God, like, there's so many like character interactions I'd love to like go blow by blow in this episode for, but it's just too much. There's so much going on in this episode. So many different character interactions, like the whole reveal of when Kevin finally tells Shirley, like, no, we've been taking the money the whole time because you would have driven the business into the ground otherwise. Like,
Shirley had a hard time this episode.
I love everybody kept dunking on Theo, even though she was mostly just minding her own business.
Yeah, Theo,
like, I'm not drunk. She's drunk. He's like, what?
Yeah, that dramatic, just like their hand is in the air. Although she was being a snarky bitch the entire episode.
Well, she's always a snarky bitch.
But she was targeting it a few, pushing buttons a few times.
This is true.
That whole breakdown there though was bad. It's weird how like Luke was like the one who really escaped most of it.
Yeah.
This.
Man, dude, like the fucking the amount of skill and effort that would have taken to pull all these wonders off, though. Like,
I'm assuming that
especially where the kids are involved, because the kids had to be like ready to move in and take the place of the adults in that one scene, and then to move away, like when it comes back around to the adults, like there's so many things. Like, I'm really impressed with these child actors. Really fucking impressed.
I wonder if they practiced that. Like they're like, all right, we gotta get this shot perfect.
They actually they were filming and rehearsing for this episode for 3 weeks.
That makes sense.
And they had taken multiple takes of it, but this is the one they went with, and I think it worked out very, very well.
I have to say, like, was that a dummy in the casket, or did they actually have Victoria chill in there the entire episode?
It was a dummy until the scene where the casket was knocked over.
Oh, so they actually knocked her. They actually knocked her over in there.
Yes, when the casket was knocked over, that was Victoria Progetti in there.
I was like, damn, they like really fucked her up there.
Every other scene, it was a dummy.
Okay, because I was gonna be like, damn, what a weird episode to film.
Yeah,
it's like you're gonna play a corpse this episode. Have fun.
Yeah, she's gonna be laying there when all that shit's going on.
Yeah, they're just yelling in the room over, and you're just chilling there.
And like that scene too was so because is it the point where Steve is like really fucking like laying into Hugh, and then he pulls the line of the wrong parent died, and that's when the casket gets bumped. Like, we assume it was Nell's ghost that fucking knocked it over, but like that was the moment where I think that was her telling them to shut the fuck up and be a family.
Yeah, because then the lights come right back on after.
Yeah.
And they do all get back to, well, we don't know what Theo's doing at this point, but like the rest of them, they do get back together to.
Yeah, they all work together to pick up the casket, and they all have that kind of that moment together. And yeah, it's a rough episode, man. It's rough. It's so fucking skillfully done throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, that was a lot, and
they're all really good at drunk acting.
Yeah. Yeah, and the guy playing Luke is really doing well at the whole recovering addict dealing with that shit too.
Well, not even just that, but dude, he's been having a crazy couple of days. Because he did the whole the leaving the rehab center and finding Joey and going through all that shit with her, and then it's like, oh, by the way, your twin's dead. We're picking you up to go to her wake. We're gonna fly across the country to go to her wake, and like. Then he shows up and he's dealing with all the crazy family shit's going on, but he's also trying to wrestle with his sister's death. Like, he's having a time. He's having a rough fucking couple of days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can kind of get him just kind of being in his own space at that point.
Yeah. It's understandable.
But this is one of the most impressive episodes that we've seen so far.
Yeah. All right. And with that, we're at over 2 hours. I think it's a good time to wrap this one up.
Yeah.
Once again, guys, thank you for joining us on Geek Addicts. You can find Geek Addicts on all the major podcasting platforms. Check us out on superpodnetwork.com and check out all the other awesome podcasts, videos, blogs on the site. Awesome group of creators there. Be sure to check them all out. And with that, everybody, once again, thank you for joining us, and we will see you all later.
Have a good one.